finally, I'd like to close with a survey we just did. We like to stay ahead of industry standards and what's happening in the industry, and we'd heard that a lot of locals were starting to have issues with tourism, traffic. They'd go to their favorite restaurant and they couldn't get in, and so we hired a third party out of Tallahassee, Downs and St. Germain, to come in and do a survey of our locals and how they felt about tourism, because we wanted to know. And so I'm going to leave this one pager with the results of that study. And I can tell you that overwhelmingly, our locals felt that tourism was extremely valuable. And I think it's because we have these big events that creates a lot of pride. Fifth Super Bowl, College Football National Championship game, the Bollywood Awards. And I think our locals really buy into those big events, and they see that as well as tourism, as economic growth. So I'll leave these with you. Hot off the press, we haven't even released it to the public. It hasn't been in any newspaper. Madam Chair, I don't know if you have any questions, if you'd like to ask me anything before I sit back down.
Well, thank you very much, and thank you for the excellent job and partnering oftentimes with Visit St. Pete Clearwater on many efforts. And I guess one question I would have is, with your convention center, if you had to give a percentage of how much that benefits your bed tax or on collections, what would you estimate that to be?
I would say that it depends on the month, and it really depends on the year. We for this year, our industry set the most aggressive room night goal for the convention sales team. That's 550,000 hotel rooms to be booked this year for future years. What it really does is it's that foundation, right? It's that baked-in piece of business that you know is going to be here, that you can trust will be here. And so it depends on any given year, any given month. I can tell you July, which is a tough month for lots of destinations, not because it's extremely hot here. Everyone's open for business. I always say, don't say it's really hot here. It's really hot everywhere. It's hot in Chicago. It's hot in Washington, D.C. Everybody's open for business. Everyone's after the same visitors, the same conventions. So I can tell you that in a month like July, where we might see a drop in visitation, a convention like the one I mentioned blows it out. I mean, bed tax revenues were up almost 11% for July. And I can attribute it, mainly to that one group and a few smaller groups that followed. But that's that layer, that foundation that helps you get through some of the tough months and some of the tough years, quite frankly.
Great. Anyone have any questions? Well, again, thank you.
Thank you.
A historic moment to have you here.
But, it's wonderful. Please invite me back. I'd love to come back.
Well, we're on both sides of the bay, and it really matters that we're working together to increase tourism. So thank you to you and your staff for everything that you do.
Thank you. Thank
and
you
your
so
boards.
much. Thank you.
Okay, next is Department Reports, Latin America, Ana Fernandez. Thanks, it's so nice to see you.
Nice to see you too. I'm very happy to be here. Latin America, basically, we're going to give you a little rundown of what we have done the last 6 months to increase visitation to the area and market our brand in Latin America. So we're going to start with some visitation data. Basically, Visit Florida, again, started providing us some numbers, so we're very happy to start reviewing those. Again, in the top 10 countries, you're going to see many Latin American countries, Brazil, Argentina, Colombia, Mexico, and Venezuela are in the top 10 for Visit Florida. Numbers are changing continuously. These are 2018, and they will have the 2019 available in 2020. But it's good to see this data. In regards to the world region, we still have South America as the third provider for tourism in Florida, followed by Caribbean and Central America. And we wanted to take those numbers and then take our numbers for total Latin America visitation arrivals to St. Pete Clearwater. This is as per Tourism Economic Report for this destination. As you can see, Latin America department started in 2013. So I wanted to just concentrate on those years. You see Argentina was our biggest provider through those years. And then Mexico, Spain, rest of South America, rest of Central America, and rest of the Caribbean. When we talk about that, rest of South America is very big. You have Colombia there, you have Chile, you have Peru. So that's why we include them there. Central America, very big for us, with Panama and the Copa flight, as well as Costa Rica has a lot of business in that area. Caribbean, you see the high numbers, and it's because we have direct flights into the Tampa International Airport from Spirit, from Copa is from Central America, but from Caribbean, it's American Airlines. We have Southwest, we have Spirit, and JetBlue. So that makes for that increase and the difference when we have a direct flight. The increase from 2013 to 2019, it's very good for us. As you can see, every year we have managed to increase visitation from Latin America into St. Pete Clearwater. If we add Brazil to that, because basically my department works Latin America together, but Brazil actually is such a big country that with Mexico sometimes get divided from the rest of Latin America. With Brazil, the numbers for visitation in St. Pete Clearwater go definitely a lot higher, but you can still see that for both countries, we continuously have increased visitation into this area. And we're put all together, it's a very significant visitation number. And we're very happy about it. Basically, how we managed to do this is through events, sales missions, and workshops that we do many times with Visit Tampa Bay as partners. And one of the things that we're doing that we're very enthusiastic and very excited about is the West Coast of Florida Coalition. It's a joint DMO effort between Visit St. Pete Clearwater, Visit Tampa Bay, Visit Naples, Visit Fort Myers. And the idea is to put together our budgets, our contacts, our plans, our sales and marketing events, and basically create more of the news for people to look at the West Coast as the best place to come in Florida. Like Santiago was saying, we have the most. Between Tampa and the beaches and this West Coast, we have the most. They just don't know about it, but that is our mission, to get them to come here and look at us in a different way. This is a little bit of what we do together. When we go to these countries, what we do is, as you see in the background, work with all our partners there, major tour operators, OTAs, airlines, and people that are booking our destinations and selling our packages. They and I, we're making presentations. We're actually working with everybody that sells us over there, presenting our product, educating. We get in front of the people that go actually selling through each country that we visit. And it has made a difference. And you will see in the next slide how it does make a difference when we do things together and we partner. The FAMs, we get more FAMs because we're able to offer them like a whole coast. We have had 9 FAMs, more than 70 attendees with media, with tour operators and travel agents, and of course we partner with the airlines to do that. We also did this year La Cita in Kissimmee. We had a big presence. We had 8 partners that joined us. It was through the hurricane weekend, so that was kind of a little sad. But still, I think our partners were very happy. They got interviews, they did a lot of contacts, and were able to meet a lot of new people that are working with us on a daily basis. Next year is in Naples. So next year we get to showcase the West Coast in a big way. So stay tuned for that. Hotel Beds, we participated. They have a big event every year. Hotel Beds is very big for Latin America and the markets that we work. We did a business-to-business event. 350 tour operators and major partners got together in the Cancun kind of area, and we had big presentations and missions there. This
I
is
think
important.
the
The
Market Hub
market
event presents a great opportunity
hotel
for the
market.
travel trade and for different providers in the industry to connect and to really hear about the latest and greatest thinking in the industry. And it's a great place to network and meet colleagues that you're working with all year round.
When I came here, I was expecting that it would be mostly hotels, but it's really a mix of sectors, you know, tour operators and OTAs. So it's really a great mix of people.
I think the most important challenge the travel industry will face is how they make use of all the data that's out there and turning that into insight to make better decisions about the customer.
It's been a great event. It's really awesome to see so many important players from the industry here in one place. And then also the property here is fantastic. Cloud computing, the rise of machine learning, the increased availability of natural language processing, how those things can be applied to travel, and then to, you know, try and suppose what the future might bring.
So that gives you an idea. We have representation there. Tampa Bay was there, Naples was there, Fort Myers was there, Orlando, Kissimmee. So more and more we work together to work with companies that are out there, not only for Latin America, but these are worldwide companies. Beds Online, it's an online travel agency for hotel beds. So we also participated of their event. 300 travel agents in one room taking seminars, learning about the destinations, and it's a great opportunity to meet big people in whichever country is represented there. We're doing a lot of things this year. We're doing our campaigns where our tour operators, big ones. Mexico, we're doing Price, we are doing hotel beds, we're doing others starting with the new fiscal year. This is a representation of how those campaigns cover everything, B2B, B2C. We did Mexico, we did Colombia with them. And that, I mean, we cover different areas. We had landing pages, we had information for the travel agencies as instrument. They have our hotels, they have packages, as you can see, banner packages. We have results on all of these that we do. We know how many people are opening, and we get a lot of bonus kind of support from them. What we do with them, it's a lot of different things. We cover the Mexico City airport, outside, inside, baggage area, baggage claim. So they're seeing our product, and at the same time, they're looking at it at their computer at work when they get to the landing page of these companies. The packages, the hotels, the attractions are all featured there. To give you an idea, this is the first time we do a campaign from them. We started the campaign in May. We started doing events with them in May. This is Mexico results, and you can see how it moves the needle and it makes a big difference. And same thing with hotel beds. We're starting a campaign September 1st. That's why you see us doing things with them. It all comes together, and we can see difference, and we can have numbers to show you. So we're really excited about these results. And it puts us, which I love, in the 4th place of their bookings for Florida. So this is an amazing result for. The campaign is still going. It goes on until October, but it affects December, which is one of their biggest traveling months. We're also running a campaign, Ciudadanos Viajeros. I know you don't know what that means, but it's traveling citizens. It's with Mensajero, a big company in Argentina. They have a travel radio program, and it goes to 21 stations all over Argentina, which is a big country for us. And as you can see, that is basically exposure that we're looking for. The campaign runs, it already started on August 1st. I think the first day we got 180 1,800 likes on their webpage, just on the first page. So we're excited about those results and what's coming. With them, that goes with a web campaign together with banners. We're running sweepstakes, so it's a very complete campaign, and we'll share with you the results as soon as we have them.
Feel the light shining.
Oh, I think that was the radio commercial in Spanish, but don't worry about it. It's about our destination. Hotel Beds, Beds Online. It's, like I said, it's going to run from September through October. Basically, it reaches 60,000 travel agents in all the markets that they're in. This campaign is going to run at the same time in Brazil, Mexico, Argentina, Colombia, and Spain. We have seen a big increase from Spain, and we're working that market. Beds Online, Hotel Beds and Beds Online is from there. So we should see great results. The campaign includes all kind of different things. It gives you an idea here of how it's starting to look. We just started last week, and we're also running a campaign, All Seasons, in Argentina. All Seasons is the biggest Disney representative or seller in Argentina for their products. So they're very big. And they work with like probably 5 or 6 different social media OTAs and different websites. So we will be in all of those starting now until November. We're trying to look already into the December and early next year travel from Argentina. So those things we will share with you as soon as we have them. As I said, I'm very happy that we're starting to get numbers and we will be able to share big campaign results with you. And I'm going to leave you with Brazil, which is always great news. Thank you for your attention today.
Congratulations, good work. Anybody have any questions for Ana?
I do have a question, Madam Chairman, if I could. Anna, why do we include Spain in the Latin America? I mean, I understand that the language is the same, but that's Europe. And why isn't it?
Well, Spain has a very different culture from the rest of Europe. Language, food, it's very it's Latin America. That actually Latin America has the same patterns and the same likes and dislikes. They're very big on beach. And they have always been going to the East Coast and Miami. Since we have all the material and we have, we work with the same tour operators like Julia Tours, Hotel Beds, all the big companies that sells Latin America and are big for hotelier distribution are actually from Spain. So it makes sense, and we started trying it, and I think Santiago can tell you that our numbers have been increasing and we're starting to focus on it. Last year, I did a couple of things, especially for Spain, and this year we're going to increase that. It just makes sense. It's kind of the same idea.
Good. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. For Brazil, we have Andrea Gable, who is the Senior Sales Manager for Brazil. Hi.
Good morning.
Good morning.
So I am Andrea Gable. I'm responsible for the Brazil market, and I would like to start my TDC presentation today sharing with you the Brazil breakdown of the market. I'm responsible for the trade. I'm also responsible for MICE, that means Meetings, Incentive, Conference, and Exhibition, and also the trade and consumer media. I brought today in this presentation also the map of Latin America, and in blue ink is the Brazil market, just for you to have an idea the size of the country. Brazil population is about 208 million, and São Paulo population is about 21.65 million people. São Paulo is located in the southeast of Brazil, and it's where the concentration of the corporate business is located. The population age range in Brazil between 25 to 54 years represents 43.86% of the population of the country. I would like to continue my presentation today, sharing with you a little bit of the Brazilian current visitor data. Brazil is number 6 of top 15 international market of a region in St. Pete, Clearwater. Brazil visitor growth in arrival to our destination increased 26% from 2013 to 2018. And that's when we start to work the market in Visa St. Pete, Clearwater. Brazil's number 3 top origin countries to Florida in 2018 with 1,115,000 visitors. We know the Brazilians love to visit Orlando, New York, and Miami. So we are so close to Orlando, we can take advantage to bring them to our destination. I often go to Brazil in business travel. And my most recent business travel, it was in August. I went to São Paulo to attend the Brazil Sales Mission and also the Azul Airlines meeting. And I would like to give you a little bit of feedback on that trip. I started the partnership with Christopher Miner and Devon Burnett from Tampa International Airport, and we met in São Paulo, Brazil, with the Azul Airlines. It's a Brazilian airlines located in Campinas, São Paulo, that has been expanding a lot in Brazil and also international. I think the meeting result was very successful, and Christopher has opened the door to future communication and bringing the first Brazilian airlines direct flights to our destination. Also, when I was doing this trip, I participated at the Global Tampa Bay Trade Mission in August, and we met with over 150 Brazilian corporate clients. This partnership was together with Pinellas, Pasco, and Hillsborough County. I would like to share that we have developed productive working relationships with Azul Viagens, the tour operator for Azul Airlines, and I did mention that during our executive meetings as well. Tour operator and OTA campaigns. OTA means online travel agents. In fiscal year 19, we have partnered with Visit Florida in seasonal co-op marketing campaign. We have trained Brazilian tour operators from south and north of Brazil. And I have actually participated in some large trade shows. For example, the Fly2. Fly2 is one large trade tour operator that they offer this large trade show. Actually, it's a show for the final consumer. It happens every year between August and September in Brazil, 2 different cities. Also, another huge campaign that we focus in final consumer was the Shopping de Viagens Agastu. Agastu is a tour operator in Brazil, very large. They also have travel agents, so they are able to focus not only the trade, but the final consumer as well. So we participated on that Agastu Viagens. It's inside of a shopping mall in São Paulo, attracts a lot of visitors, and it happens twice a year, during April and also September. And we have partnership with Visit Florida at the Winter Tour and Travel marketing campaign. Our reach this fiscal year for the visitors was about 820,000 visitors. The tour operator workshops and trainings, and you reach over 3,000 travel agents. When I usually go to Brazil in business travel, I'm always in communication with the tour operator, with the travel agents in sales missions, in trade shows, road shows, and also training the tour operator and meeting the travel agents as well with all my sales calls. And I usually do travel north, northeast, and southeast of Brazil. Tour operator workshop and training campaigns, and you reach over 3,000 travel agents I just mentioned. And the Expedia marketing campaign we started this year, beginning of May. This campaign is going to go until end of this month. At this time, I don't have final results yet because the campaign is still happening, but I have some data to share with you. Total future room night stays are up 32% from last year with this campaign of Expedia, and the campaign revenue is up to $154,000. My next slide, I would like to share with you, I do a lot of work also with the media I mentioned at the beginning, the trade and the final consumer media, and I have a lot of, one option of I have one-page ad in Brazil. What I try to do is focus on our brand, but also work with different tour operators from Brazil to create direct package to our destination. As you can see some examples there with MMT GapNet, with Arinta tour operator, AIT, and then also Agastu and Azul Viagens. What you have seen right now in these examples is that the first ones that I was working at the trade there and the final consumer as well, I was actually putting on my ad not only about the brand and our destination, but including the package of the tour operator can offer to our destination. I have shifted a little bit beginning of this year. Our relationship with the tour operator in Brazil has increased, and they're not just creating 1, 2, 3, 4 options of the package to our destination. Most tour operators are creating much more than just 4 options, and I didn't want to give that message to our final consumer in the trade that they can only offer 1 or 2 or 3. So in this case now, as you can see in front of you, our ad looks more clean, a little bit more about the branding and our destination, and the top small picture on your right side bottom is actually the contact for the tour operator directly. So they can contact, and depending on the needs of the travel agents or the final consumer, they can have access to some of the package for our destination. Participation in Brazilian trade shows. Fiscal year 18-19, I had constant presence in Brazil's major trade show. I participated at the Festival de Turismo de João Pessoa. This year is going to be the 9th edition of the show. It's a trade show that attracts about 3,500 travel professionals, and they attract the northeast and São Paulo area of the country. Moving on, we have also participated and will participate this year at the Festuris Trade Show with a participation of over 10,000 travel professionals. This show is located in south of Brazil, and one of the most famous shows in Brazil, it's World Travel Market, Latin America. Every year is in São Paulo, and every year is in the month of April. This show attracts a participation of over 700 professionals and 500 press. This year, Visit St. Pete Clearwater, during the 3 days of business of the show, we had a full appointment of meetings with tour operators and media as well. In the past, in the TDC presentation, I had come here and shared with you how many fans and how many media visits from Brazil I have welcomed to the destination. This year, I wanted to do a little bit of the breakdown and go through them because once again, I wanted to show you our great relationship that we have created in the Brazil market. So starting with the fans and media visits, promoting our destination to familiarization groups of tourism professionals. We start with the Train tour operator and Avianca Airlines fan. Train has merged recently with the CVC tour operator and became the largest tour operator in Brazil. Flight 2 also merged with MMT GapNet, and they had a tour operator Mega Fan. They became the second largest tour operator in Brazil as well. Florida Huddle Brazil tour operator Fan. We always take advantage of any shows that we have. The Brazilians are coming to Florida or USA, and if we have an opportunity, we'll bring some of those clients, those tour operators and travel agents and media to see and promote a destination. And that was the case with the Florida Huddle Brazil tour operator. I was actually able to welcome them in January of this year, 6 of tour operators to see our destination. Continue on. We also had the Brand USA and Corporate Airlines Brazil Mega Fan. This is the first time that Brand USA has provided a Mega Fan, including Brazil, and the campaign was run in Brazil. So it was last year. It was a 3-month campaign. The tour operator together with Brand USA and the Corporate Airlines, they did a campaign that any tour operator or travel agents that sold the most of the destination that participated in this Mega Fan, it wasn't just Visit St. Pete Clearwater. So Brand USA had 7 other locations in the United States. The one that sold the most were able to come in March and visit our destination. So we had a great group here visiting our destination. Brazil Corporate Sales Mission, we welcome that, and that was a partnership that I had with Pasco and Pinellas County. We welcome some corporate clients from the area of São Paulo, again, the largest concentration area in Brazil, Rio de Janeiro, and Belo Horizonte. Now, Azul Viagens tour operator and Azul Airlines fan. Again, the airlines that we are trying to see, they're expanding a lot and would love to take opportunity to bring a direct flight, the first direct flight from Brazil to the destination. They had 2 fans in our fiscal year with them, and they are continuously promoting our destination throughout the webpage and also the platforms. Moving on to media now, I welcome digital content influencers Dicas de Viagem. It's a digital influencer from São Paulo area, and they cover the specific content and art and culture this year for us. And I also welcome digital communication platform Catraca Livre. That's the largest digital platform in Brazil, located in São Paulo, and they also covered the best beaches and honeymoon. I welcome Consumer Media Visit Discover Florida. She's a journalist. She's a consumer/trade journalist from Brazil, and we welcome her after IPW taking advantage of the show in US, and she was able to provide the specific content and cover all the new attractions that we have in downtown St. Pete. We also welcome digital influencer Travel Terapia from São Paulo area, and digital influencer Patricia Maldonado. She's a very famous journalist from São Paulo and Rio de Janeiro, and she has the digital platform called Família Muda Tudo. That means family changes everything, and she was able to provide a specific content and what to do in a family in our destination. Coming up in fiscal year 19 and 20, I'm going to participate together in October, the 2nd week of October, in São Paulo, the Oriented Tour and Travel Tour Operator USA Day Workshop Day. This means it's a full day where this tour operator, we already have continuous work with them. They bring about 200 to 300 travel agents that buys direct package from them. In a full day, we're gonna provide destination presentation, followed by workshop with all our Portuguese collateral, and it ends the day with a networking event where the trade has the opportunity to ask me some other further questions about the destination. Continue on, taking advantage of that. End of October this year, we are welcome for the first time the Oriented Tour and Operator with Corporate Airlines fan, and we're actually gonna share this fan together with our friends Visit Tampa Bay. In November, I'll be traveling to Brazil, very south of Brazil, to attend the 2019 Festourist Trade Show. I mentioned that it's one of the second largest trade show in Brazil. And for the first time, we're going to try something different. We're going to participate inside of the luxury space. What does it mean? It means that every appointment already booked for an appointed meeting inside of the luxury space. And I'm going to be sharing the space together with our friends from Visit Naples. And last but not least, in December 2019, I'm going to be participating in the Visit Florida Brazil Road Show. Usually Visit Florida takes a whole week to do some road shows in Brazil. They choose 3 different cities, and the event starts with a training of the destination, followed by a workshop with our collateral in Portuguese that we print in Brazil, and ends with a networking event that I can address more information about the destination and answer any questions they might have as well. At this time, I would like to thank you for the opportunity, and if you're open for any questions you might have from the Brazilian market.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. Great. It was very good reports, and we can see the progress that's being made in both Latin America and Brazil. Okay, next is our Capital Projects Funding Program Review and Recommendation. Tim Ramsberger.
Buenos dias.
Buenos dias.
From the only gringo coming up here.
You just couldn't.
Okay. Good morning, everyone. We met last month as a workshop, and if Andy can throw up the on the screen there, the results of the scoring from the workshop. You have a handout there, but for the public, you can see this, right? So each of the 3 applicants attained the requisite score of 700 minimum, and so the recommendations of the TDC is now required for consideration to advance this to BCC consideration.
Any questions? And so we do negotiate with our partners, and it's an approved up to funding based on some marketing benefits that come back to Visit St. Pete Clearwater. So I guess the only comment I would make, even though it's been allowed in the past to fund parking, my preference is to look towards funding the Dali Museum, the museum part as much as possible. And I think that was the wish of the committee as well. Tony?
No, I, if I remember correctly, my comment was that a majority of this money should go towards the museum itself. And I don't know how exactly you do that. Was there going to be a recommendation from staff on that?
I think the process would be if this committee would, or council would move this forward to the board, then the board would direct staff to go ahead and put an agreement together. At that point, that agreement would include that type of direction. And also we would look at the marketing benefits associated with the monies being associated with each agreement. Once they're tied up, they'll come back to the board for final approval. So that's the process that would be before us.
And I think the one and that came out of this is that the ability for this parking to become usable space in the future. Am I correct about that?
Yeah.
And that's a substantial difference than we're building a parking lot.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So if there's no other questions, then I would entertain a motion to move these 3 projects forward under the conditions that we just stated.
I'd like to make that recommendation that we approve these projects with the recommendations to staff to bring forward to the BCC in the future.
Second. Okay. Any other further discussion? Okay, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, congratulations. So, okay, next is the Visit St. Pete Clearwater Interim President and CEO report. Paul.
Thank you, Madam Chair. So they're going to pull up the presentation. It is. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and give you your monthly snapshot. So for the month of July, you can see we've kind of leveled out as far as rooms sold. I think this is the first dip that we've seen since Red Tide of last year. But we remain tracking positive for ADR and RevPAR. Talking with staff, trying to see if we can understand where that leveling out or slight dip reasons for, we really don't have one at this time. We're looking back. It'd be a bunch of supposition at this point, so I think we're just going to have to kind of remain vigilant as we see data come through and see if this is something that we're just approaching the slower time of year. Don't know if July's numbers were somewhat inflated last year due to some red tide movements from the south moving up to visitation moving up to us. We just don't know enough about that yet, so we'll keep an eye on that as we move
Good
forward.
comment.
I'd like to too.
Weather was probably an issue with more of the local population would come to the beaches. I mean, July was a wetter than normal month, and that may have affected the number of, let's call them, in the local region that would come out to the beaches and spend a day or two. That may have a big part of it.
What kind of marketing is there any marketing that you are beefing up because of that? Normally July, August, September are slower months, but I know in the past that those were the months that there was a market move to try to create more business for not just the hoteliers, but the restaurants and other businesses that survive on tourism.
Yeah, I know we try to beef up our market locally, and in the state as we move through the later summer months and into the fall, knowing that, there are slower months. We're probably going to touch a little bit about some of that possibly in the subcommittee meeting, but if you want specifics as what was being done this year, I mean, I have Katie and Tim here. Maybe they can touch on some of that if you want some more information now.
I mean, I think we should, I'd like to know.
So,
Is there anybody, briefly?
Katie, if you could talk a little bit to the marketing that's been done for the later summer months and maybe heading into the fall.
Sure. Good morning. Katie Bridges, Visit St. Pete Clearwater. So a lot of what we're finding is a lot of the marketing that we're doing in the late spring is what's affecting what we're doing in the summer. So this year we had a great spring with our New York advertising campaign that we had. We've been very active in Orlando a lot this year, doing a full year-long campaign. So usually we would maybe just start that up in the summer months, but we started that January 1st. So we've been very heavy in Orlando, and also continuing our partnership with Live Nation that started up in July over at the amphitheater in Tampa, and our presence at International Plaza. If you actually go to the partners website, you can, for this month's report, list all of the activity we had during every month. So I could bring that up, or after this meeting, show you in the subcommittee where we list every media that we have running per month, and that's a good thing to look at.
Commissioner Seal, do you think we could have a hard copy at the next meeting just to see, of that? I would appreciate that.
Sure, definitely.
All right.
Do that. Thank you. Anyone else? Okay.
Sure. So as we move ahead, we get just the breakdown of the next three slides are actually a breakdown of the rooms sold, ADR, and RevPAR. I kind of, being new in this role, I'm still getting the hang of what some of these numbers look like, on a monthly basis and what they mean to us. But, I tend to kind of look at where we are in the region, where we are with Orlando, and as well we are with the state average for each of the next three slides. And we pretty much are hanging, in the center of the pack as far as rooms go. Our RevPAR seems to be up and kind of leading a little bit. But we continue to trend positive. I mean, I think it's, when you look at our year-to-date numbers after this, the next slide, you can see that we continue to track positively. We're seeing the same things as Visit Tampa Bay is seeing. The other thing I've noticed in our numbers is it seems like the center of the state and whatnot, again, tracking the same. It seems like the South is seeing a bigger, influx. And again, learning and talking with the staff, with South America, that's kind of their push to get out of their seasons up to where we are in the southern part of the state. So there's certainly opportunity there that I think for sure with the Latin American team, it's probably good they're here today, that there'd be some targets for this time of year that maybe we can be looking at for next year to see what we can do and maybe pull some of that even further north in the state. So we look at 2019 year to date, again, we're remaining positive for all three indicators there. Again, when you look at individually, when you break those down, and again, I kind of compare with where we are with the state and the other areas, you see, I think we're tracking very, very well as compared to other destinations that are comparable to ours. Again, RevPAR, we're up 6.4%. Again, when you take in consideration of Bay County and their recovery, we're actually leading the state in that area for RevPAR. For tourism development tax for the month of July, again, very, very positive month. Even though our rooms sold may have leveled out, total collections still continue to trend positively over 6%. When you look at October through July, our fiscal year to date, and we're over 6%, as we move forward. So again, good times. I think we're seeing the benefits of continued good economy, but also the benefits, as Santiago pointed out, very heavy marketing. I mean, we continue to do that. We're blessed with some good tax collections that we're able to pump back into our efforts, and I think our sales and advertising and marketing efforts, we're seeing and continue to see the benefits of those efforts.
Okay, so we're hopeful that we go over the $60 million mark this year, right? Okay, Tony.
I think us plugging into the fact that we're a half a point down in July goes to show how spoiled we are. I'm not going to freak out over a half a point loss in the month of July. I also find it interesting that quite a few of the destinations south of us did considerably better, and I think that's a direct correlation with the fact that the red tide disappeared, and that may have impacted us, where last year they weren't going to Sarasota, they weren't going to Fort Myers. So again, if our biggest problem is that we're down a half a point, I can deal with that.
Mm-hmm. Okay, anyone else? Right, very good. Okay. Anything else, Paul?
No, that's it. Madam
Okay.
Chair. Thank you.
At this point, are there any board member comments? All right, well,
Just,
Tony.
I wanted to thank staff, and Paul, I'd like to thank you for the detailed information. I brought up some questions on the visitor's guide, and the memo that came out really answered a lot of the questions that were being asked of me. So thank you, Paul, and thank you, staff, for producing that.
Thank you.
Okay, great. So with that, we are adjourned, and then the marketing subcommittee will meet in at the conference room on the 5th floor. We'll in about just marketing.
Oh, there's no finance.
There's no finance, is there?
What?
No finance
Finance
meeting.
committee today.
Just marketing.
We're going to do the finance committee meeting next month. We decided that because we've, basically concluded the budget for this year, that starting in October would be timely because we'll get ahead of the budget for next year. And so we will be having that meeting next month. We thought we were going to have it today, but we decided to postpone it. Okay, all right. Thank you all very much.
Thank you.
And thank you, staff.